So I'm a big Star Trek fan. I just, well, when I say that, I mostly mean the original series, Next Generation, and Deep Space Nine. And I'm not that big a fan of Voyager or Enterprise because Enterprise has that whole prequel aspect and feel to it. Where I feel like, especially in as long rolling a canon as Star Trek, that if it comes before even the original series, then those conflicts have long since been handled in the canon you care about. And of course, that is the same problem as the new Discovery, which, as a fan of those three initial series, I can't stand it. I don't want to be mean to it. It's almost like I have to judge it like it's not a Star Trek show. It's just some J.J. Abrams produced sci-fi show. And if that were the case, then I could be like, well, it's really dark and creepy and violent and everyone's really mean, but it has these good things about it and it's very pretty. See, that's my principal complaint, is that everyone is a dick. Everyone. Like, for no reason. And Michael Burnham, the main character, is unnecessarily self-deprecating and self-defeating and hard on herself, and is always very self-destructive and glum. But everyone else around her enables that. Like Doug Jones's character, he's an asshole, and he takes every opportunity he can to just say something mean to her. The whole show. He can't praise her without also saying something mean to kind of negate it. And Anthony Rapp, right away, has this terrible attitude, especially for a starship. It's like he must be insufferable to work under. And he's just very rude and mean and nasty all the time, and he has this anger. And they try to justify it that Michael is somehow responsible for the death of his colleagues. Spoilers. Sorry about spoilers. So they try to rationalize it, but for it to be so unwavering is not really Star Trek. And it bothers me when people who are ostensibly in charge of Star Trek, they argue that, well, in the original series and in Next Gen, I thought that people were too nice to each other. It just didn't seem realistic. Maybe for how you live now. But it was supposed to be an idealistic, hopeful view of the future where we eventually get over pointless nastiness and just kind of being a dick for no reason. It's almost like we grew up. We grew out of that as a species. Give us 300 years and we might do that. And it was a nice, hopeful thought that we might all learn to get along, and that just being an asshole because you feel like it would just kind of not be as big of a thing. But no, it comes roaring back in Star Trek Discovery. um, yeah, I don't know. It's hard as a Star Trek fan of those original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine. I'm actually going through Deep Space Nine again right now. And whenever people do the whole Kirk Picard debate and they throw in that like secret option Cisco, I'm like, that's fair. I could totally see Cisco as your favorite captain. As a fan of those core shows, it's not even meant as an insult. This is not Star Trek. It's like I want to think of it as another show like Babylon 5. Not that show specifically, or like any of those other Star Trek clones that were out during the series Prime. It just feels more like another sci-fi show, and it's almost like it surprises me when I see Federation logos on people's uniforms. I'm like, oh, right, this is Star Trek. And it's not like some Ridley Scott produced alien prequel show. Because there are episodes that feel like that. And it's almost like they're pushing what I think are the wrong envelopes. They're like, how come Star Trek never has really scary, bloodthirsty monsters like the xenomorph that just rip people to shreds and turn them into piles of goop? And like, why doesn't it have people being chased, through Jeffrey's tubes? behind a monster that turns you into human confetti. And I'm like, whoa, wow, I guess Star Trek has monsters like that now. Like, and they say shit when they encounter the monster, which is like, okay. I guess they couldn't say shit because of the censors before, but it almost felt like they were too good for that. But now this is also the first Star Trek with fuck words. So I don't know. I just feel like they're pushing the wrong envelopes. They're like, now it's nastier and gorier and swearier. I don't know. This is, I want real Star Trek back. So, here's hoping that Patrick Stewart, Picard show, hopefully that's like all hopeful and idealistic and fun and cozy like Next Gen used to be. Probably not, because it's got fucking Alex Kurtzman. But we can hope.